Good morning, children of God. I hope you guys are doing well this morning. I have a question for you. Do you know what this is? Well, it says it's a ballot up at the very top. It's not my real ballot. It's not a real ballot. It's just an example ballot, but it is a ballot. Do you know what a ballot is? So a ballot is the way that we, the people who are able to vote in the United States, so anyone who lives here that is over the age of 18, gets to mark in these little bubbles here, and we get a say on how the country or how our city is run, which is kind of cool, honestly. So on these ballots, they will ask questions like, who do you think should be president? Who do you think should be the mayor? Do you think this should be a law? Do you think this should be a law? It's kind of cool that these questions are asked to us and that we get a say on who runs and how our country is run. It's kind of interesting. So I have a question for you. What do you think is the most important thing on this ballot? Maybe it's who the president should be. Maybe you think that's the most important. Or maybe, who should be the mayor? Or maybe even deciding what laws we follow. What's the most important law or rule that we follow anyways? What do you think? Maybe the speed limit laws. The speed limit is what tells us how fast we can drive our cars. That keeps us safe. Or maybe the law that we shouldn't shoplift. Maybe that's most important. Well, did you know that in our Bible lesson today, Jesus himself was actually asked a similar question? What was the most important law to follow anyways? So the Pharisees were a group of people that had lots of rules and laws that they had to follow. And so they wanted to ask Jesus. So they went to Jesus and said, Jesus, what is the most important law anyways? What's the most important law to follow? Knowing that Jesus had tons and hundreds of laws to pick from because they had so many. And they figured maybe they could trick him. They could trick Jesus. And that maybe he would get stumped or not even be able to answer because there's just so many to pick from. But Jesus did answer. And let's take a look at what he had to say. Jesus knew that the man was trying to trick him. He looked at the man and smiled. Love God with all of your heart and all of your soul and with all of your mind. Jesus said, this is the greatest commandment of all the commandments. But there's another really important one too. Love your neighbor as yourself. If you obey these two laws, then you obey all of the laws. Jesus told the men to love God and to love others. Every other law rests upon those laws. Laws that tell us, rules and laws that tell us not to hurt other people, or don't steal or don't lie. Those laws hang upon loving God and loving others. If we love others and we love God, we don't lie or steal or hurt people. So if we follow those laws, the laws to love God and love others, it'll help us to follow the other rules that God also sets for us. Jesus reminds us that no matter what is in our ballots or what we see on TV or what happens in school, that the real number one rule is to love God and to love others. Let's pray together and thank God for this reminder. Dear God, thank you for Jesus and for each other, who remind and encourage us to practice paying attention to you. Thank you guys for praying with me and for joining me for this wonderful Bible story this morning. Jesus reminds us that loving God and loving others is the most important thing. So I want to see how you can implement that into your week this week. I'll try it too, and you go ahead and try to implement loving God and loving others as much as you can this week. I hope it goes well for you. See you guys soon.